How can we know the right path? Welcome to the Summit Study Hall. My name is Dre, and with the help of some Bible verses, we're going to explore this very question today. This is going to be a bit of a longer talk, but we'll keep the answers short and to the point. Choosing the right path or even knowing what it is isn't always so easy. Sometimes it takes deep meditation and contemplation to fully understand which route is best to take. So we're going to look at a few verses which may point us in the right spiritual direction. So let's kick it off with the first couple of verses that both relate to our very first answer. The first of the two comes from Psalms 25:4. It says, "Show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow." Our next verse is Psalms 119:35. "Make me walk along the path of your commands, for that is where my happiness is found." So our answer is by asking God to show us our path. Sometimes the best way of finding out which path to take is to simply ask God. He'll direct us toward our destinies and make the way clear for us. Let's move on to another couple of verses. The first comes from Proverbs 14:2. "Those who follow the right path fear the Lord. Those who take the wrong path despise him." The second verse is Psalms 25:12. "Who are those who fear the Lord? He will show them the path they should choose." So our second answer is by having a respectful reverence for God. When we have a deep respect for God, that's when we want to do what's right in His eyes, and we'll feel which route is best to take by asking ourselves, what would Jesus do? It's more than just a popular motto. It truly is a way of life. Our third set of verses. Again, the first comes from Proverbs 3:6. "Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take." The second verse is Psalms 119:105. A pretty popular one. It says, "Your word is a lamp to guide my feet, and a light for my path." So our third answer on how can we know which is the right path is by keeping God's teachings. After having that deep respect for God, we'll then want to follow His teachings. His word will guide us along our road toward its glorious expected end. Our fourth answer correlates to a verse that comes from Hosea 14:9. It says, "Let those who are wise understand these things. Let those with discernment listen carefully. The paths of the Lord are true and right, and righteous people live by walking in them. But in those paths sinners stumble and fall." So our fourth answer is by living righteously. To take it another step further, after following God's teachings, we'll begin to live righteously as well. We'll let His word cleanse us and make us a new creation, allowing His wisdom to take us down the right path, no matter what situation we find ourselves in. Our fifth answer correlates to a verse from Ecclesiastes 10:2. "A wise person chooses the right road. A fool takes the wrong one." So our fifth answer is by using wisdom and discernment. Another facet of choosing the best path is to sit back and analyze all the options. We should follow them to their own ends and see where they'd take us. When we have a clear mind and a clear conscience, we can then use our moral compass and gauge which road to travel down. Verse number 6 comes from Proverbs 16:17. The path of the virtuous leads away from evil. Whoever follows that path is safe. So our answer, by staying away from negativities. Staying away from drama and trouble is what helps us keep that clear mind we just spoke about. When we live with a positive mindset, we open up our hearts to all that's loving and pure, as opposed to harboring hatred, envy, or negativities of any kind. Verse number 7, Proverbs 4:26. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. So our answer, by keeping our path simple and uncluttered. To keep a straight path truly means to keep out strife and other forms of distraction out of our journeys. It goes hand in hand with our previous point. We can make our path simple by keeping our minds focused on the prize at the end of the road, not looking left or right, never comparing our journey to that of another, but just keep running our own race. That truly makes for the best route possible. Verse number 8, Psalms 17:5. My steps have stayed on your path. I have not wavered from following you. So our answer, by not straying away from our path. Another key to staying on the right road, once we found it, is by obviously not straying away from it. We need to push aside those things which pull us off of our centered tracks and make us want to take shortcuts or detours to our divine, destined finish lines. The next couple of verses relate to our ninth answer, the first of which comes from Psalms 25:8. The Lord is good and does what is right. He shows the proper path to those who go astray. Our second verse is Isaiah 53:6. All of us, like sheep, have strayed away. We have left God's paths to follow our own, yet the Lord laid on him the sins of us all. So our ninth answer is by not losing hope if we do get on the wrong path. Nobody's perfect. So when we do occasionally take the wrong road to our destinies, we needn't beat ourselves up over and again, bringing the past into the present and hindering our progress from there on out. We should just continue onward with our own individual race and keep making our way forward. Finally, our last verse is Proverbs 2:20. So follow the steps of the good and stay on the paths of the righteous. So our last answer is by following those who are ahead of us. While we shouldn't compare our situations with that of anyone else, we should keep an eye out for those who've been where we are and come out victorious. We should try and follow their example and become as great, if not greater, than they've become themselves. When we can let ourselves be inspired by others' achievements, we can then foster that same energy and use it in our own lives, on our own paths. So let's do a recap of these 10 answers and we'll close this episode out. The question, how can we know the right path? By asking God to show us our path. By having a respectful reverence for God. By keeping God's teachings. By living righteously. By using wisdom and discernment. By staying away from negativities. By keeping our path simple and uncluttered. By not straying away from our path. By not losing hope if we do get on the wrong path, and by following those who are ahead of us. So with that, that'll do it for today. I thank you for sticking it out with me, not just through this talk, but all of them. My prayers, like always, are for God to bless us all. Indeed. Until tomorrow, take care.